yo. That's who confusion, yo. Looking on my eyes, see it gotta be this run of my society. Just trying to be some pies in this bar. Double minute out of gas price rising, even though teacher reading. Apathetic, speaking, yo, we better read. Critical masses, that's for the boss and conformity to get in that ass. Don't chill but I'm willing to flex. And I'm only coming down till I can't afford to live in the past. Listen to your head, sit in the left. Education to those only kids, bring the baby sitting in class. Used to be that they were building the last. That a grand dollar ass vibration, the prison fixing the last mile incarceration, territory. Talk in case they carry talk. Little BS for the video, kind of play with every song. You ain't gotta wait long for me to keep them moving, son. Cause they ain't how to wait, gotta keep them moving. Gotta keep them moving, son. Gotta keep them moving. Gotta keep them moving. Gotta keep them moving. Wake up, time to go new town. Let's show fan base to the growth. Some sound system song, pumping the brakes, don't stop it for goodness sakes. Putting on my deck, we didn't know. The only shot that being a pro is a take, been a give and relate. Concentrate what they did, now you wait. I don't rate that we live. Sometimes it's slow, you gotta read up for the next day. Living is tough, what's the best way? Chill time's never enough, living in real time. Here is a still mind, won't show you when the sunshine is falling the growth. I'm trying to find strength, it is a gold mine. Where it is going, if the front back, I'm just so making an aspect, put in the whole thing in your last check in the fold. So when you know nothing line, how y'all feeling tonight?
All right, this is the original Mr. Neva Dedd here on the AYP network for Lyrically Fit. Chillin' with man Cesar Comanche from Zulu Nation. And my man Ghost Dog. Got a new album out, Ghost in the Shell. You guys are on tour right now. You're doing the Building Bridges tour. We're here on one of the stops in Wilmington, North Carolina. Cesar, explain the concept behind the tour, how it came about, where you guys have been, and how it's been so far.
Well, Building Bridges originally came from like conversations that different artists in different locales have had with me over time. Basically, you know, there's cats I feel whose hearts are in the right place and cats who have something to say to the people, but necessarily haven't got their, you know, their music or themselves doing shows in different areas. And me having done shows in a lot of different areas and met a lot of good people, I was thinking like, these people need to know each other. And I figure, what's a good way to do that by, other than having a tour and then having different artists I know in different cities do their city and then bring them somewhere else where they can bond and network with other cats from other cities, and they build their family over there, which will help them do shows in that other city they did in the future, and then vice versa. So I wanted to just connect a whole bunch of dots all over the place, and right now it's more the middle southeast region that we're doing on this first one. And I wanted to, instead of trying to build a city, I wanted to build a region. So people could network, and that's more people to deal with, and then that's also teaching them how to get themselves more shows in different places. And it's basically, instead of catching fish for people, teaching them how to fish situation, you know? So that's pretty much what Building Bridges is all about, just connecting good people from different places and letting them network, and then them, whatever thing they make happen, let them run with it and keep it going, you know? And it's just something that's been very successful. A lot of people, different cats, have been bonding in this whole tour. This is the last date in Wilmington, but I mean, it's real cool, man. I'm watching cats bond with each other face to face instead of just on the internet, and that's what I want people to do. Build face to face. Use the internet as the icing on the cake, but make sure you establish those real life relationships with people, and that way you grow your brand, and it just keeps, you know, that's what Building Bridges pretty much is all about.
Do you think it's a lost art now, getting out and touring and building networks in that sense, as opposed to Twitter and Facebook?
Nah, not really, because I feel like if you don't go out there and show the people what you can do and show them how you can connect with the people, then at the end of the day, I mean, everybody gets sent like 10 billion different songs and albums that comes out every week. There's no way you can know what to listen to and what not to listen to. Something could be really dope. Something could be, how are you supposed to know when you just bombarded with MP3 files, file sharing, check out my new free download album, I'm coming out with another one next week. It makes the art so disposable, you know? When that real life bond, face to face, is what sets you apart from all these billions of MP3s you get force-fed every day, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing I feel that can replace that as far as the way it resonates with another human being. So that's one of those things that I definitely want to make sure continues on. And you know, it's been definitely a pleasure doing this tour, this first installment of it, because it's not the only time I'm going to do it with Ghost and stuff. And you know, and he'll tell you, like, it's resonated with a lot of people more than we even thought it would, you know. So it's a beautiful thing, man.
Now, Ghost, tell us some of the cities you've touched, and tell us some of the experiences you had, some of the memorable experiences on this tour.
All right, so we touched down in Knoxville, Tennessee. There's some dope spitters over there too. Now, I met Kobe Kane, aka Mr. Kobayashi. That's where I met the homie. Like Bo Jenkins came down from Virginia to rock this show with us. That's an example of the cat coming from somewhere else to rock somewhere completely different. You know what I mean? We kicked it off like that, man. Like, it's like kindred spirit. You know what I mean? So we hit Asheville last week. Actually, that was dope. Turned out dope shows. Some memorable times and memorable cats over there, man. Like, word up. A lot of energy, a lot of spirit over there, man. It's let's see, we hit Chapel Hill, North Carolina. We're here in Wilmington for this last stop. We've hit Raleigh. Those to the norm. We've hit Herndon, Virginia, and Roanoke, Virginia. Herndon was off the chain, dude. Like, that's Bo Jenkins' hometown. So he came down the block with us in Knoxville. Then we go out there to the carpool in Herndon, and it was just like freaking on blast, like that whole night. You know, like we've had some good turnouts, some real appreciative fans. You know, a lot of real good, like, dope MCs. I mean, they've been really good all around shows, and they're property formatted. You know what I mean? Like, you got like a good 4 or 5 acts. No call tonight, man. It's like it's all love. You know, it really is.
And you've been building with Cesar Comanche on this tour.
Yeah.
Cesar, you know, without tooting his horn too much, I want to embarrass him, but he's got some major accolades in the business.
Oh, God, dude.
Has this been a great learning experience for you?
It has, man. Cesar has doubled as somewhat of a mentor and a big brother on this show, man. Like, real, man. Like, real good, genuine character, man. It's been an honor. It really has.
Now, switching it up a little bit, you also have a new album out, Ghost in the Shell. So there's been a good promotional tour for it. Would you like to tell us about that album a little bit?
Yeah, it's called Ghost in the Shell. Believe it or not, it's my 5th solo album. And it's actually the first one that's really, I can't say it's broken the radar, but it's I can say it's honestly some of what I feel is my best work, and I feel like it's getting the right kind of push it deserves this time around, man. And this tour has actually helped me to get it out to people, man. Like I said, people have been appreciative. They have rocked with us at these shows, and they have brought like merch at the shows and brought albums and CDs and all this stuff, man. So it's doing pretty well, man. It's actually also getting a good push. It's currently in FYE, Suncoast, all the affiliated stores. If you go into that right now and you don't see it right next to Ghostface Killer, go to the counter and ask them to get Ghost Dog, Ghost in the Shell. You gotta say the whole thing like the pimp named Slipback. Ghost Dog, Ghost in the Shell. If you say Ghost Dog, you get the movie. You say Ghost in the Shell, you get the anime. Which they're both dope, but they're not this album that you need to be doing. Hey.
Let's say, Cesar, what are you working on right now? What do you got going on?
Well, right now, working on my first nighttime album. It's called Like a Night in the Feet. And basically it's something in the vein of, as we're talking about feel now, of Midnight Marauders, Tribe Quest. There's a Dark Side, Red Man. We're talking about Nocturnal. Just things that I feel like the records is a nighttime record. It's something I've wanted to do before, but I feel now I'm at the skill level to do it justice. So it's gonna be from beginning to end. It's gonna take you through just the feeling of the night, not necessarily like nighttime subject matters, but beautiful dark and beautiful at nighttime. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I'm working on now. It's supposed to have been out now, but it has had to take a back seat from me doing the tour, and then a lot of different other albums that people are wanting me to get on. So I'm kind of putting the tour and the work I'm doing with other artists on their records in a artist standpoint and on a engineering standpoint too, kind of ahead of my own album, because it's coming along and it's gonna be really solid, and I feel the people are feeling be worth the wait.
What do you think about the young generation's view of hip hop? I know we talked earlier, Kendrick Lamar just did a verse, and everybody's all up in arms about how lyrical he is, and not to single him out in a negative or a positive light. But do you feel that the tide is turning a little bit, that things are getting more towards the lyrical vein in hip hop again?
I feel that's one of those things that remains to be seen, because as much as this verse or this song, this verse on this song has been resonating, like I'd say just in the past week, I feel like it's one of those flavor of the moment type things, not saying anything against his skill level or his work or anybody's work. It's just people's attention spans are so short. So whatever the next, thing that happens in the news or whatever people want to get up in arms about, it's like always for a few weeks they're on it and then they completely forget about it after that.
Like you were saying that it was about earlier, cats really getting burnt out. And even last week it was like Trayvon, you know what I mean? And now that's like off the radar.
Right.
I was hoping, like we were talking about earlier, and I was asking if y'all thought this would be something to stick. Right. Maybe light a fire in the cat's ass to get on the wavelength or be able to catch the things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like as soon as people feel they can't get attention by talking about this anymore, then people are not going to talk about it. And that's the sad thing, I feel that there should be people out there inspiring people to work harder on their craft, and no matter what it is, we're not even talking about just music, we're talking about anything, right? But the sad fact of it is, it's like, it's so much reality TV, whatever the hot topic of news of the moment is, it's like it's spilled over into every type of demographic to where our attention spans, it's just like as soon as something else happens, then we forgot about that. Now we're on this now. It's cool to be passionate about this. And it makes you wonder who really is passionate about anything anymore, because are you really passionate about this situation, or are you just showing passion because you feel that's what you're supposed to do? Or are you showing passion because really in a sideways way, that's another way for me to push my brand? And I
kind of like we're talking about everybody responding to the damn Kendrick verse. Everybody in their model, like even if they're not like from New York, and even if they're not even on the radar as far as like cats that are maybe a tier below me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm neither here nor there, but I'm saying like cats that maybe haven't, even done a show before, or like doing response.
Right.
And it's like, why, bro? Like, are you really putting yourself in that arena when it has nothing to do with you? Cats that ain't from New York.
Right.
Now, true, Kendrick came from New York, but that was the point of that whole thing. You talked about you juggling, the coast.
Right.
But I mean, you got cats who's coming out of like Philly.
It's just like out of the woodwork.
It's out of everywhere, man.
But the thing is, here's the thing. What if, let's take that same verse, right? Let's say people weren't talking about it like that. And let's just say that same artist who made a response to it heard it, but they're not looking on the internet and seeing all this buzz about it. I guarantee you 9.99 out of 10, they would have never even addressed it. They would have been like, they wouldn't have paid no attention to the verse. It's because other people paid attention to the verse, and they were like, oh, this is my chance to get my shine off what this other man did. That's that type of whole philosophy and thought process to me. It's like, it's whack to me. It's just, that's not how you should do. You either give props to something because you like it, or don't.
Well, it's parasitic.
Right.
You're right.
You're right. It is parasitic. It is.
You know, we just had dinner before we came to the venue, and it was funny because
I love you, Casey's.
Wilmington, North Carolina. Like,
if you ever visit Wilmington, North Carolina, they're one of the home bases of AYP and now Lyrically Fit, I'm sure. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. But there was a young lady there, a sweet young girl who worked there, and she really was taken by your.
Yeah, my Black Jedi, Zulu.
Yeah, Zulu Nation pendant. And, you know, it was funny because we talked to her and asked her what she knew about it, and she kind of got shy. And
to preface that, she said she knew something about it already.
Well, I don't want to single her out in a negative way because she's a friend. She's a friend and she's a sweet girl. But that brings up the question. What is the relevance of the Zulu Nation today in the hip hop world, and even with young fans coming up and young artists coming up more specifically?
The relevance is, I feel, if you want to do anything right, or you want to be a lawyer, you've got to pass the bar. You've got to do all those things. You got to make good grades, you gotta go to university, then you gotta go to, you know, get your law school and all that. So it's the same thing. Like, if you're part of a culture, we're not even talking about actually being actively part of one of the four elements. We're not even talking about that. We're just talking about being part of the culture as somebody who loves it. If you're part of something, know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just be blindly in something and then somebody from the outside who's not comes to you and asks you, because you're an ambassador at that point, right? So therefore, you need to be able to go back and be like, well, hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? The Zulu Nation started back in 1973, and then they created a culture called hip hop in 1974. And and if you're part of something, you need to know its origins and then the whole purpose behind why it was even organized, to where then now you know what you're part of, and that will make you somebody who is better equipped and better suited to educate somebody else on how to be part of that culture. And I mean, it's more about community service and these type of things, and we're not talking, music is just an aspect of it. It's just one small aspect of it, and people need to understand it's all these things as far as community, the way you treat people, because the whole culture, it brings people together of different religions, different races, different geographic origins, it ain't got nothing to do with that. It's just, if you love this, we should all love each other. You know, and that's the basic, knowledge that we need to understand at the core of that, and that's what Universal Zulu Nation tries to keep and bring and instill into the forefront. And then, as you said, just relevance. There's a lot of the reasons shit has kind of gone, not the reason, but what's helped stuff kind of go ways in different ways, people being uneducated what it's really about. And I mean, I understand a lot of people use the word hip hop as a genre of music, but we gotta be careful of that, because really it's not a genre of music. Rap is a genre of music, but hip hop is the culture. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, all these different things is what we gotta make sure that, like me, my duty to educate younger cats about, and then everybody's gotta keep the education going on what it's really about. We can't control what each and everybody is gonna do with it, or do with their talent or their expression, or what type of situation they get into, but taking it back to the origins of just the culture. We're not saying that UZN created rap. We're not saying Universal Zulu Nation created b-boying, graffiti, or DJing. We're saying UZN is what took these people, organized them together, and let's make this one thing we call the hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? And make something beautiful together. And that's the basis of we got to get that connect back, because we kind of lost that a little bit, especially in the youth, because a lot of young cats, they don't even know, you know. So it's very instrumental in making sure the people are educated correctly on how you're supposed to celebrate this thing we call hip-hop and what it really means, and understand that the music aspect is just a tiny bit of it. You know what I'm saying? So that, as far as that whole thought process is, I feel anyway, because I'm just one person, right? I feel that's the main thing about using it as far as it's going. Anybody can do it, but I'm just saying it's like our duty to keep people mindful of such a thing. You know what I'm saying? So, hope that answered the question.
Yeah, very well.
Word.
All right, Ghost Dog. We're gonna wrap this up. So tell the people where they can find out more about you. They can follow you, get your albums, etc.
Alright, so you can Google Ghost Dog MC, spelled just the regular way, GHOSTDOGM, the letters MC. So Ghost Dog MC is my website. It is my Facebook. It is my loud ass peoples in the background, and it is also my Twitter. So yeah, Ghost Dog MC. I've got albums out online. You can go to CD Baby, iTunes, Amazon, any digital site. If you type in Ghost Dog, Ghost Michelle, it'll come up, and it's worth checking for. Now I'll tell you.
And Cesar, where can people look you up?
Same thing we're gonna start off with. You just Google Cesar Comanche, and it's CESAR, then COMANCHE. You can get my music on iTunes, Amazon, all the different legal download sites. I'm sure you can go to different things to search out my physical products too. I have 7 records currently out. Check me out, Facebook, everything's / Cesar Comanche, one word. Twitter, same thing, / Cesar Comanche. And if you hit me up and you ask me a question, you're gonna really get an answer from me, not somebody who's working the different, that's their job to do. You're really talking to me, so definitely holler at me. Any questions you guys have out there, feel free to, come straight to me too.
All right, Cesar Comanche, Ghost Dog, I'd like to thank you for your time.
What up?
AYP, peace.
Peace.